Come here. I'll show you something.
Okay. I'm just following you, Jay.
Maybe that's the reason why.
Whoa! Hello, everybody. You are looking at not one, not four, but 8 different Nissan Skyline castings by Hot Wheels. I'll get to why I picked the ones I did that are in front of you, but I have wanted to do this feature for a while. Ranking the Hot Wheels Skylines. We're on a bit of a Skyline kick in the Hot Wheels world. And I thought, you know what? I can offer my top 8. I can rank them up, but why not bring in someone else to offer his opinion as well? He has a bit of an expertise. We'll get to that later. That's Jay Coe, a.k.a. Gestures Garage. We're in his house in Las Vegas. Say hello, Jay.
Hey, how are you guys doing? I can't really say I'm an expert, but I am a fan of these cars.
We'll call you an aficionado.
Okay, I can do that.
All right. Well, we'll call it whatever you want to call, but this is what we're going to do. There are 8 Skylines. We're going to rank them. I'm going to go with my top 8. Well, there's top 8, but I'm going to put them in order from worst to best. And Jay's going to match me with his worst to best, and we'll see how close we are. Fair enough?
Fair enough to me.
All right, let's do it. All right, here we go. We're going from 8th place to 1st place, our least favorite to favorite. I'll go first, Jay. And my least favorite is this one. Now, I'm not saying we're picking this specific model. I'm not talking about the color or the deco. All I'm talking about is the casting. I just picked what I thought was the best representation of said casting. This is the R32 Skyline. R32 is about as legendary as there is when it comes to the Skyline, right? I guess they're all kind of that way. But this is just not the representation I'm looking for. And it is old. It's a little dated. And it just doesn't bring the excitement, I think, that some of the others do. Jay, what do you think?
And I totally agree. This would be my least favorite out of the whole lineup as we speak. Just the body lines it doesn't do it for me. You know, you have this combat kit looking on this car, and it just doesn't fly. Not for me, at least.
All right, on to number 7. And I'll tell you, my last place one was easy. Now it gets really hard because I'm a huge fan of all of these. But having to rank, I guess this is my number 7, Jay. I don't think this was a good idea to do this video.
I don't know.
Because people are going to think that I don't like this casting. I love this casting. In fact, I think this, along with the 510 wagon, ushered in this JDM era that we're all so nuts about. It's a great model. It was released in 2011. It's the GTR, or it's the GTX with the GTR package on it, the exposed intercooler. I'm going to talk about how much I love it, but I don't know. I think I would rather have, I guess if I had to say anything, I'm looking for more of a stock version of this car. But that's it. I feel bad actually saying it. I'm really regretting this video. So what's your number 7? Let's move on. All right, Jay, your number 7.
I don't know. This is really hard in what we're doing. And I am stumped. But for some reason, I couldn't have the Hakoska as my number 7 because the beginning of my collection started from that and the green.
You're already making me feel
wagon.
Guilty about my choice for number 7.
But I love the designer of this, but I would have to pick
the R33.
R33. And maybe because of just the Hakoska's nostalgic for me as the casting itself. So I really can't say much. I mean, man, this is beautiful.
It's kind of like the lesser degree of love, right? I love all of these.
I do.
I can sit the R32 out, but now it's really difficult. All right, should we move on to number 6?
Let's move on.
All right, my number 6. And I have a feeling that if I did this ranking like tomorrow, I'm going to change it. But my number 6 is, again, this is tough. It is the R34. The casting is perfect. The details are perfect. It is the Nismo, right? And The color is perfect, but we're not talking about the color. We're just talking about the casting. This happens to be the one with the plastic spoiler, which matches the color. And here I am, just talking about how much I love this casting because I do. But all I can really do is go on Skylines I like, Skylines I don't. And I really like the R34, but I like some of these older Skylines just a tad better. AJ, you're number 6.
Number 6. Tougher. Really tough. Ken Mary.
Ooh.
It's a tough call, really. This is really bad in what we're doing.
This was a poor decision, right?
I think I would need to sit down for a week and make that decision, but we're doing it on the fly.
Yeah.
That makes it fun. But yeah, let's move on. This
All right.
hurts.
All right. All right, you should see how long the pauses are in between these takes because we keep staring at the cars. I've changed my mind 100 times already, but let's go with this. This is my number 5. I'm with Jay on this one. The casting's just about perfect. The stance is perfect. I am so glad that Hot Wheels did the R33. It's pretty crazy that they did an R33. I love the 90s lines on this one. There's so much to be excited about it, but there's things I like better. That's the only thing I can say. Jay, let's move to your number 5.
Number 5. There it is. I'm mad for picking this, but
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I have to. Hakoska, number 5. Thank you.
All right, now number 4, this one is especially hurtful because I have claimed on this very channel that this is, if I had to pick my all-time favorite casting, it would be this one up until recently. We'll get to that in a minute. But here I am ranking it number 4 in the Skyline list. And that's because I think I can now, because I think everything's on the table for Hot Wheels and Skylines right now. And I think we're going to see more Skylines. And so I'm only putting this at number 4 because as much as I love it, and as much as this Super is beautiful, and as much as I like the casting, I actually would much prefer to see a stock C110 Skyline. So now that we have like the tiny 4-spoke wheels that we see in the Laurel and some other models, I would love to see a new version of this one with the small wheels on it looking proper as a C110. I'd even love to see it just pure stock without the fenders on it or whatever else. So that's the only reason why I'm going that number 4. Jay, what's yours?
R34. Great body, big wheels, but great body itself. With a plastic spoiler. Ugh. But, yeah, number 5. Ugh.
You're having a hard time describing these. Is that because you just hate it so much?
Because I hate doing this. I mean, we're picking these cars apart like they're supposed to be bad, but they're not. They're beautiful. They're nicely done.
And this reminds me, people should be putting their own rankings down below in the comments. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I'm sure they have a totally different outlook on this thing, but yeah.
We all do what we do.
Maybe we'll change our mind next week too.
I've already changed my mind since we started doing this. All right, my number 3. Now I think we can start talking positively because we're talking about top 3. But my number 1 is a no-brainer. It comes down to what I like versus like the actual car versus the casting. So I'm debating this one with one other one, but I'm going to put this number 3 only because I can probably explain it better when I get to my number 2. I've seen one of these in person, Jay. I don't know if you have. I have, and which makes me awesome. And it's a ridiculously good-looking car. It epitomizes the 80s. It epitomizes Japanese cars in the 80s. It is as signature comes, and Ryo Asada nailed this casting. The way it sits, everything about it. I love this casting. I like two other ones. But I absolutely have no complaints, especially when you consider that this right here is a $1 car with the headlights, the taillights, the grille, the whole thing. I feel like I'm a bit of an expert in the R30. I'm probably making you jealous with my expertise, Jay, but that's my number 3.
And number 3, and I picked the newest casting from the Skyline family. It's beautiful. and it's hard to find, but I just got to move on and pick number 3, as hard as it is. That's a beautiful wagon.
All right, we're to our top 2. This will give away my top 1. Not that you guys are like drum rolling, but this is my number 2 casting. It's the C210. A couple things I love about it. The car itself is great. It's more of an underrated Skyline, to be sure. You don't see them here in the U.S. I mean, maybe there's a couple out there, but you don't see them very often at car shows and whatnot. But again, this speaks to how far we've come in Japanese cars and popular culture, and that Hot Wheels feels a C210 is a good one to do, and it's been very popular since its release. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is how beautiful it is. A couple of things. It shows these small, it just really shows off well with the Laurel, the small 4 spokes, which looks so good here. You can see that it can also fit the larger wheels, but that's another time. The details on the rear, the details on the front, and that cool little touch that Mark Jones did in designing this and putting a chrome steering wheel in with the interior. It's just an awesome casting no matter what it is.
And number 2, I picked the same thing. The Skyline Japan. It sits so well with the 4 spokes. It has a 15-inch wheels, and it rolls.
It does.
The rear tempo is awesome. You know, when I say I hate doing this, it's because it's like picking your children and telling them you're not good enough. So,
all right, without doing a drum roll, here is my number 1. I had a feeling this would be my all-time favorite when it was announced. I had a feeling it would be my all-time favorite when I saw the first images of it. And it was definitely my all-time favorite when I finally got to have one in hand. This thing is perfect. I think this is next level for Hot Wheels. When I did the showcase for this line, the cargo carriers, I compared this with the Tomica Limited Vintage. I think it is on par in terms of looks, details, crispness of the casting. This is a wagon that actually makes the 510 wagon such a popular wagon, or popular casting, kind of look a little remedial. This is perfect execution. Junimai designed it. It's beautiful. I love the color, but I know we're not talking about the color. I just think this epitomizes everything. I like the C210 because it's a unique choice. This is definitely a unique choice. It is not a common car at all. And it's executed so well with so much Hot Wheels style, going with the small wheels and the lowered look. It is my all-time favorite Hot Wheels casting. I know I do the hyperbole thing, but this is my number 1. Jay, what's yours?
and my number 1 pick is the DR30 Nissan Skyline. The Newman, which is the Zenki edition.
What is Zenki edition?
Now, Zenki, take a look at the grill.
Yeah.
Bigger headlights, you got that 3-slated grill.
Yeah.
That is the early model of that car. Now, a lot of them, which is now the Koki, has that smaller headlights, and they call it the Iron Mask or Tekamen.
And that's not this one.
And it's not this one. There's a lot more Tekamen out there as far as real car.
So they not only did the DR30 Skyline, but they did a rarer version of it.
Correct. And I'm really glad they did. You know, I would say this was my number 1 favorite right from the get-go when I got a call from the Hot Wheels Design Center. And they told me, hey, Jay, why don't you head on over? We got something special to show you.
So why would they call you and ask you? I mean, I just told you I was a DR30 expert.
Maybe come here. I'll show you something.
Okay. I'm just following you, Jay.
Maybe that's the reason why.
Whoa!
So,
we're in Jay's garage. That's a DR30.
it is. And want to take a look at the grill?
Yeah. This is going to make me more of an expert. Oh, look. It's
Yeah.
the...
Newman, Zenki edition.
I see it.
Ah.
Grill. Car. Look at that. Gold rims. Gold rims.
Oh, hey, come here.
Yeah.
What is that? Something's on there. I'm gonna have to peel that off.
Oh, you've got the name of that DR30 expert. All right, Jay, now I remember why I wanted to do this Skyline ranking with you. Really was just to show all the different Skyline castings. Whether, what we think in terms of best and worst probably doesn't really matter. Although I think your opinion probably does, only because, of what is sitting in your garage. So, we will let this be your number one. I think that's an absolutely good reason because there's one in your garage and we're not talking about the Hot Wheels version. So anyway, Jay, thanks for doing this with me. Guys, I want to see your ranks down below. Give me your first to your 8th in terms of favorites of the Hot Wheels Skylines. Maybe we'll see some more later. But Jay, thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for having me. This car is awesome. Joyride?
Joyride.
All right. All right, everybody. We got more tomorrow. Bye.